The Siege of Mandalore is here, and it is a fantastic story arc. The first episode of this arc, Old Friends Not Forgotten, has been reviewed by most as one of the best Clone Wars episodes to date, and we now have the episode titles and descriptions for the last 2 episodes of this story arc. And I must say there was a few surprises in these descriptions, so let's get right into it. The title of episode 11 is Shattered, and the description reads, after capturing Maul on Mandalore, Ahsoka's journey to the Jedi Council is disrupted when Order 66 is declared, turning her world upside down. I can remember when we first got news of Season 7, and this was one of the big questions that everybody was asking, are we going to get to see Order 66? And here we go, it is finally confirmed we are definitely getting Order 66, but the big surprise here for me is that it's not on Mandalore. Ahsoka and Rex are going to be en route with Maul to the Jedi Council, which to me brings up all sorts of questions, like what would the Jedi Council have done with Maul if he actually made it there? Not to mention, how exactly is Maul going to escape the ship? Well, I'm not too sure, but I have an up-and-coming YouTuber StarForceOne. He shared some of his predictions with me, and here they are.
So starting off, we get confirmation that Maul will be captured on Mandalore, most likely at the hands of Ahsoka and Bo-Katan, after their duel that we see in the trailers. I really don't think they're going to go with a massive Maul vs Kenobi style duel from the Phantom Menace, but instead something similar to their fight from Rebels, with a very somber undertone, as we obviously know they both make it out alive. On top of that, it looks as if Maul will be on a ship, chained up, and in the process of being transported to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, but they will be stopped in their tracks as Order 66 is declared. I'd even go as far as to say that Maul and Ahsoka will be forced to form a temporary alliance in order to escape or save their lives, which would also explain Ahsoka's lack of fear when confronting Maul many years later in Star Wars Rebels. If Rex doesn't remove his chip in the next episode, he will definitely have to remove it in this one. I think they may even do a tense climax to the episode, with Rex removing his chip only moments before Order 66 is called by Palpatine.
And I must say, I love this idea of Maul and Ahsoka forming an alliance. I mean, after all, they do many years later form an alliance on Malachor, so it makes sense in that way. And this prediction by StarForceOne really makes sense because the combined power of these 2 Force users should be enough to get them off the ship alive. And though I think it would be really interesting to see Rex coming to some sort of realization at the last minute and removing his inhibitor chip, I also think that may have already happened. But let's move on to the episode 12 title and description. The title is very ominous. It reads Victory and Death, and the description is Ahsoka and Rex must use their wit and skills to survive the turbulent end of the Clone Wars. Certainly not a lot to go on in that description, but Victory and Death is a very interesting title. Just thinking about the Clone Wars and the word victory makes me think about Yoda's words in Season 6, I believe it is, when I don't believe anybody ever wins a war. I mean, the only victor in this situation is going to be Emperor Palpatine. And the rest of the galaxy are certainly losers, and that includes Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. And that said, one thing that I'm very interested about the ending of this series is just how Dave Filoni is going to pull it off. I mean, it's going to be a tragedy. I don't believe we're going to have some amazing battle at the end of this series, so I think we as fans need to prepare for the fact that this is going to be that tragic ending, and it might be a completely different pace from the first episode in the story arc, Old Friends Not Forgotten. But once again, I'd like to share with you some thoughts and predictions from the YouTuber StarForceOne.
The description for the final episode of the series is extremely vague and leaves a lot up for speculation. Based on the description alone, I'd say it's likely that after Ahsoka and Rex escape the other clone troopers, in the aftermath of Order 66, they are forced to maintain a low profile while they evade patrolling clones on whatever location they may end up on. This is probably also the point where Ahsoka loses her lightsabers, with Rex potentially helping her to evade the clone troopers who are actively seeking her. Although Ahsoka is technically no longer a Jedi, I think Palpatine will make sure to include her in the Order, as she is one of the only people, including Luke later on, that would be able to pull Anakin back to the light. Either way, this will provide us with a perfect setup for their later reunion in Star Wars Rebels down the line. Overall, I'm incredibly excited to be seeing Revenge of the Sith retold from a different perspective, including the tragic events of Order 66.
And it is sort of funny that we are so excited to see the events of Order 66 unfold because they are so tragic. That said, StarForceOne makes a great point that Ahsoka could be one of the individuals that pull Anakin back to the light side. And it's interesting to me that at this particular point in the timeline, Order 66 that is, that Palpatine didn't have a special plan for Ahsoka. Or hey, maybe he does, and maybe that's why the finale to the series is going to be so amazing. And just looking back at the previous episodes, it would be very interesting to see someone like Trace and Rafa show back up again, or even Echo and the clones from the Bad Batch. This is something that would really help bring this season full circle and help connect the beginning with the end. Either way, we need to prepare ourselves, like I've said, for a tragic ending, and therefore we may have already seen the most fun and climactic of the episodes earlier on in this story arc. Either way, I know Dave Filoni ended off Star Wars Rebels in a great way, and I'm sure he'll bring the Clone Wars Season 7 to a fantastic finale as well. That all said, folks, please check out the video I have linked in the description and in the comments below. It's a fantastic video by StarForceOne. He's been doing some really great coverage of the Clone Wars and overall just puts out high quality content. So check out the video, and if you like what he has, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always, I'm Mike, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.